Good morning, dear students of class 8. Welcome to the English online learning class. Today we are going to start a very beautiful lesson called Princess September. Lesson 5 from your supplementary reader, It So Happened. And this lesson, Princess September, is by the famous writer Somerset Maugham. Princess September, like each one of her numerous sisters, receives the gift of a parrot in a golden cage on her father's birthday. So this lesson is about Princess September, and she, like her numerous sisters, numerous means many sisters, and she got a gift of a parrot which was in a golden cage. And this gift was given to her by her father on his birthday. But what happened? The parrot died, and by chance a singing bird comes in its place. And it was by chance that a bird who could sing beautifully, melodiously, it came in its place. And Princess September showed off her pet singing bird to the sisters. And the sisters advised Princess September to put this bird in a cage. Now the lesson begins. The king and queen of Siam. Siam now is called Thailand, and they had many daughters. The queen said that it confused her to have to remember so many names. So the queen said that it is very difficult to remember the names of my daughter. So one day the king decided to call them January, February, March, though of course in Siamese. So the king decided to simplify, and he named his daughters after months of a year so that they could easily remember. And he started calling them January, February, March, and so on. Of course, this was said in Siamese language. And then finally, they came to the youngest daughter. And this daughter was called September, Princess September. Now, the king of Siam had a peculiar habit. Peculiar means had a very strange habit. And this habit was, instead of receiving gifts on his birthday, he gave them. What happens in birthdays? We get lot of gifts, but instead of getting gifts, receiving gifts, the king used to give gifts. One year on his birthday, not having anything else handy, he gave each of his daughters a green parrot in a golden cage. Now, one year on his birthday, as he could not find anything easily, so probably he did not have much time, he did not make much preparations in advance. So he decided to give each of his daughters a green parrot. And this green parrot was put in a golden cage. The princes were very proud of their parrots. They felt very proud carrying their parrots in a cage. And they spent an hour every day in teaching them to talk. So they also spent an hour every day in teaching their parrots to talk. Presently, all the parrots could say, God save the king, and some of them could say, Pretty Polly, in no less than 7 Oriental languages. So this much the parrot learned. They could say, God save the king, in honor of the king. And they could also say Pretty Polly, and in no less than 7 Oriental languages. Oriental means languages of the East. Orient countries are the Far East countries. Now, one day, when Princess September went to say good morning to her parrot, she found it lying dead at the bottom of its golden cage. One day, when Princess September early in the morning got up to say good morning to her parrot, as was her habit, but she found that her parrot was lying dead at the bottom of its golden cage. She burst into a flood of tears, and nothing that her maids of honor could say comforted her. She started crying badly. Burst into flood of tears means she was crying terribly. She could not stop crying. And when her maids of honor are the women who are taking care of the princess. They tried to calm her down. They tried to comfort her. She would not listen. She cried so much that maids of honor, not knowing what to do, told the queen, and the queen said it was stuff and nonsense, and the child had better to go without any supper. So when they could not control, they did not know what to do, how to make the Princess September stop crying. So they went to the queen and told her. And the queen got angry. She said, it is all nonsense. Now Princess September will go to bed without any supper. Without any supper means supper is the last meal of the day. So she would not be given dinner. The maids of honor wanted to go to a party. So they put Princess September to bed as quickly as they could and left her by herself. As the maids of honor, they had to go to a party, so they hurriedly put Princess September to bed and they left her crying. And while she lay in her bed crying, still even though she felt rather hungry, she saw a little bird hop into her room. So she was crying, she was also feeling hungry, but then suddenly she saw a very small bird hopping into her room. Hopping means they had entered her room and a bird hops. The bird doesn't walk. So almost jumping into her room. She wiped her tears and sat up. She sat up. She just wiped her tears. Then the little bird began to sing, and he sang a beautiful song all about the lake in the king's garden and the willow trees that looked at themselves in the still water and the goldfish that glided in and out of the branches that were reflected in it. So the bird was singing a beautiful song, and she was singing about the lake in the king's garden, the willow trees that were looking at their reflection in still waters, the waters that were not flowing, and the goldfish that was gliding in and out of the branches that were reflected in the water. When he had finished, the princess was not crying any more. When the song was over, surprisingly, the princess had stopped crying. And she quite forgot that she had no supper. And she also forgot her hunger, that she had not taken anything in supper that day. That was a very nice song, she said. The princess praised the bird for her beautiful and melodious song. The little bird gave her a bone. Would you care to have me in the place of your parrot? So the bird said, "In place of your parrot, would you like to keep me?" said the little bird. "It's true, I'm not so pretty to look at, but on the other hand, I have a much better voice. I agree that I'm not good looking like your parrot, but then I have a nice voice." Princess September clapped her hands with delight. Princess September was very happy. Delight means happiness. Was very happy, extremely happy. And she clapped her hands. And then the little bird hopped on to the end of her bed and sang her to sleep. And the bird was also very happy because Princess was praising her song. Princess was happy, was not crying anymore. And so this little bird jumped on to the end of her bed and again sang songs, melodious songs, which put Princess September to sleep. So we are going to stop here today and we'll continue with the next part of the text tomorrow. Now read this, and if you have any problems, you can post your questions in your group. At the same time, see that your written work is completed. Thank you, class. Have a nice day. Take care.